Adam Zancy, welcome to it as Hollywoodbets brings you another stunning episode of GameON. And before we get things started this week, let's just start off as the football fraternity worldwide by taking our hats off to Liverpool for being crowned champions of England. And of course, we have to congratulate you, Shane, as the Liverpool fan. It's been since 2013 since United last won a championship, and they were on 20. You guys eventually catching up on 20 championships won overall.
Good.
Eventually.
Good to be with you, but eventually catching up with you. But then again, how many European titles have Liverpool won and Man United won?
Point.
Okay.
Good point. Let's move on. Touche. Yeah, but congratulations nonetheless. Great season. Unexpected, is it fair to say, considering Klopp leaving at the end of last season, new coach coming in. Did we see this coming at all from a Liverpool point of view?
No one expected it. I must be very honest with you, and not even myself. I mean, when Arne Slot took over, we just thought, well, it's going to be one of those. We're going to have to go through another year or two of a plan and the way he plays, and that hasn't happened that way, you know. They've all slotted in. If you look at that Liverpool team now, they're more united than ever before, which is the big thing there. And also, he's got that midfield where Klopp struggled with the midfield, the holding midfielder, and the defending of your defence. He didn't have that, and Slot's got that right with Liverpool. I mean, Gravenberch's been outstanding. There's been a lot of players outstanding. You know, they all say Mo Salah is scoring the goals, he's making the assists.
The team effort, this.
But it's in the midfield there. McAllister's been a Trojan. I mean, the smallest guy on the field, but he's been brilliant. Snobbelschlei, there's been a few. So it's been a team effort, and that's what it's about.
We talked about it last week, coming into the game against Tottenham, chance to win it at home, which is, of course, the objective. It makes it extra special. But then again, you go and slap 5 past Tottenham, who had a good start.
They had a good start, went 1-0 up, and I thought, oh, here we go. But, the class just prevailed after that. You know, Liverpool just lifted up the gear. Second half, they were different class. I mean, Spurs didn't even get a touch in type thing, you know, and it was just a matter of time before the goals came, and like I say, what a way to go out winning. If you see those fans, how long they stayed on that field after the game and the celebrations, I can just imagine in the streets what the celebrations are like. But the one good thing for me was, if you watch them arriving at the stadium in the bus, it was different class. All those fans on the sideline screaming, shouting, going mad. And I was listening to one of the interviews after the game, and one of the senior players turned around, it was Robertson, turned around and said, told the youngsters in the bus, there's no ways we can lose this game with these fans. And that's what it's about, you know. It's a team effort, including the fans.
Well, the message was almost there. Last week we discussed this. In that a week or so ago, they sat and watched Arsenal as a team on a day off, just to know what they needed coming into this week. Already you could tell they were united and, almost united, excuse the word there, but they were united as a group and knew the mission at hand here.
Well, as I said to you, this year has been different class with the way they are together. It's one team. It's a huge team effort. Brilliant for them. And, you know, now they've got there. They've got to keep it going now. That's going to be the hard part, is keep it going for next season.
Well, it's another win in the Premier League era for Liverpool. Now the second, it was Klopp. And now Slot, of course, and congratulations to Liverpool. But let's talk about down at the bottom. We know who's bowing out in as far as England: Ipswich, Leicester, and Southampton. With regards to those 3 clubs, we've been keeping an eye on them since the start of the season. Where do you see their seasons going away?
Look, they were just not good enough. They came up, they didn't bring in enough players, they didn't strengthen their teams much. They brought in 1 or 2 players each team, but when you come into the Premiership, it's different to the Championship. It's much stronger, much harder. Every single game is a harder game. It's a cup final for teams like that. Haven't learned their lesson. They'll all go back down and hopefully bounce back again. But, you know, for me, it's just been that they didn't invest money in players, and that was the biggest problem.
Were you surprised in West Ham being as low as 17th and being in the conversation at this stage of the season?
Yeah, West Ham have been blown hot and cold all year. You know, it's been one of those seasons for West Ham again. If you're a Hammer supporter, you're very frustrated. So much, they got a good team, but just couldn't put it together, and that's been there the whole year. You know, just couldn't put it together at vital stages.
Now, I have to talk about someone who, of course, is a legend here in South Africa, former teammate of yours at Kaizer Chiefs some years ago, Lucas Hatebe. We know of the work he's done for the country, for Kaizer Chiefs as a legend, but he's also a legend out in Leeds for any youngsters that are watching on and may not be in the know. First global ambassador for Leeds United. That's big from a South African point of view. From a Leeds United point of view.
Well, he's huge in Leeds. Roo, the chief, whichever one you want to call him. I mean, he's brilliant there. He's been brilliant for them. He was brilliant for Leeds over the years. He's a legend there more than ever before. You know, he's had songs named after him. He's had streets named after him. He's even got a bus now named after him. You know.
Basically, has the keys to the city, yeah?
Exactly. Yeah. But I mean, Lucas was just outstanding there for them. I mean, he went there, played many years, even played in goals.
Yes.
Which some people can't remember. I mean, played in goals. I mean, what a man, what a legend. I mean, people don't know in South Africa. So when he first came to Kaizer Chiefs as a youngster, he came as a goalkeeper from the Bafutoswana League.
Yes.
He came on a trial. One day at training, just shooting, and the coach said, well, you can strike a ball. And he turned around and said, okay, well, I can play out as well. And that's how that happened, and that's how it developed. He started off first goalkeeper, then striker, and ended up in midfield and centre back. But I mean, that's just Lucas. I mean, when he was at Leeds, he did that as well. Play him anywhere. What a gentleman as well. What a nice man.
Well, let's also talk about the fact that he did captain them for 124 games. Also, maybe I think the last great Leeds generation that comes to memory that went to the Champions League under his captaincy as well. He had a great time at Leeds and gave them some great memories as well.
Yeah, exactly, and that's why they hire him in such high esteem. You know, at Leeds. You know, he did everything for them. What a man. I mean, the captain, and he led by example. That's one thing about Lucas. Always led by example. Nothing was too small or too big for him. He was just outstanding. I mean, one of our greatest exports ever in football. And as much as there have been some great players, I think he stood out and been one of the best.
Of course, he went to Leeds at a time when he was there with Phil Masinga. They called Phil Waltzing Masinga at the time out in Leeds. But 10 years, that's almost as much time as what we'd call a one-club man in the time he gave out in Leeds as well, which is also quite crucial.
Yeah, it is crucial, you know, and that's why, you know, when you go to a club like that, especially a big club, I mean, Leeds are a big club. They're coming back in, and you'll see next season they are a huge club.
Yeah, we need to congratulate them for that as well.
For 10 years, it's not by fluke that you're there for 10 years, that you become captain, that you run, and the people so fall in love with you. It's not by fluke. I mean, Phil was the opposite, you know. Unfortunately for him, injuries, this, that, off-the-field incidents. Lucas wasn't that. He was the true professional, stuck it out. He just did everything that he had to do, and he did it right. And I mean, what a legend in his own right, you know. I'm glad that people are starting to recognise that, and we, as South Africans, we don't do that. While they're alive, let's recognise them as legends. And I mean, these are doing that for him now.
Well, we do recognise Lucas Hatebe, the former South African captain, former Leeds captain, as a true legend, not only here in South Africa, not only for Kaizer Chiefs or the national team here, but as well as Leeds out in England. A great example of a man who's given to the beautiful game worldwide. We take a short break. When we come back on the other side of this, we talk the local game. And of course, Jerry Skasana will be stepping up.
Wanna bet?
You are on.
Breaking news. Gogo takes a prize challenge to a penalty shootout.
Aziz again.
Let's go.
Brian looks confident here. What? He's completely missed it. Here comes Gogo. And what a kick! She's done it! She's done the impossible! Hollywoodbets, Azisheke, let's play.
Welcome back to GameON. Now we switch focus and look at what's happening, well, I guess on the continent and right at the tip of the continent. Let's start off with, well, the big news coming out of the weekend, last weekend. So much expectation from a South African point of view. 3 sides with a chance to get into the finals of the CAF competitions. Just Sundowns making it through. Well, congratulations, I think we should say nonetheless, to Pirates as well as Stellenbosch.
Yeah, Caesar, thank you very much. But so disappointing. But yes, at least as a country, we do have a representative in Champions League, and sorry to Pirates, sorry to Stellenbosch. But you know, the sorry that goes to Pirates, it's something which I'm not definitely sure about it. I don't know what happened, you know, because for me, when I was there playing this Champions League, it was the same scenario as this one where they bow out of the semi-final, where if we scored a goal away from home, it was the defense duty to make sure that they shut everything down. So from 1-0, we need to defend. To 1-1, we still have the advantage.
Yeah.
We go to 2-1, we extend the advantage. It goes to 2-2, we still have the advantage. Now we bring these people back. I mean, really, it was so disappointing for Paris defense to let that slip.
Heartbreaking indeed. Now, let's look at what's been happening in the PSL. Starting off with Kaizer Chiefs against Gallants. Kulmengayole came last week. Each Chiefs, they got off to the perfect start by leader 1-0. And the Gallants, man. They still have a lot to say about this game.
But what do you expect from these Chiefs players?
Were you surprised Kulepek for them changes the move?
Hey man, there is a lot of things happening in this team. I'm confused. You know, as in like ex-player, maybe being one of those players at Kaizer Chiefs, I would be asking myself, what is it that I'm playing for a big club like Chiefs when things are like that? I mean, I spoke about last week when we said Chiefs are gonna beat cheaper. Then I said, no, I'm standing on the fence. It's going to be a draw. And it happened. And now I thought maybe because players want to play in the game later on today, then they would want to put more effort, you know, just to be in the starting lineup. Now they lose to Marumo Gallants. And then they're playing a derby. They're giving a coach a headache. It's going to be a big tussle this afternoon.
It's not just about the loss and the pressure for today's game. It's also the pressure you're going to top 8 as well. Now there's even more pressure, especially if about to leave the South Namhlanje.
I say since I was born and understanding that there was a club called Kaizer Chiefs. I'm 69, I think Chiefs is 70. I'm 1 year older than Chiefs.
Football age, yeah?
Football age. Sure. That's my real age. That's my real age. No football age. I think on that, I've never heard a club like Kaizer Chiefs fighting for a place in the top 8.
Yeah.
This is only happening now. So you ask yourself, what's happened? What has changed? Or the wheels have come off? I don't know. But this is what you call a Clamor team, Clamor boys. Are they Clamor boys? I don't think so. Something needs to be done in that house.
Big news coming out of the Limpopo province. SuperSport United 1-1 in the Polokwane City. An important point for SuperSport United considering now that 15th position by Luela and the Cape Town City to avoid it.
Another story again that we spoke about last week. You talking about two teams that will only be fighting for top 8. Now they're fighting there to avoid going to the Motsepe Championship. Wow, that's so bad for these big two clubs.
Today is a big day. The Chiefs, the Pirates, again, the pressure on Chiefs, but also pressure on Pirates. Good Bazo responded, Jani, after Cairo last week.
Yeah, it's going to be on both sides, but I think Pirates would come with more anger today. But, you know, for me, maybe to talk about the whole game as this person, almost 29 years now, telling the viewers, 29 years, I want to see somebody getting a hat trick just to relieve me of this problem that I'm having for 29 years.
You're carrying a burden on your shoulders.
You know, Legs of Thunder, the last player to score a hat trick in a derby. I hope these players need to produce that so that we've got something exciting to talk about because problems are there in football of late.
Cape Town City has problems. They're home to Mamelodi Sundowns. A qualifier for a Champions League final, by the way.
I can say more woos for Cape Town City. I don't think they'll win in anything against Sundowns. Sundowns to win.
Chippa United away to SuperSport United?
Chippa to win away at SuperSport.
There's another important game. Golden Arrows, they're still trying to get into the top 8 themselves. They're at home, but they're in Stellenbosch, who, of course, now they want to do away with the pain of not getting into the CAF Confederations Cup final.
Yes, especially Umangoba, after losing to Amazulu in a derby, he would want to do better, but I don't think he will get it right again. I think this one I can always stand on the fence again and say, I'll go for a draw.
So, lots to look forward to, including the big derby a little later on this afternoon, and we've heard from Jerry in as far as his thoughts on that game. Pressure on both these sides, and, well, that's our look at what's going on locally in the South African game. Jerry steps aside, Shane steps back, and we talk German football on the other side of this. Welcome back to Game On. It's time to look at what's happening out in Germany. And, Bayern Munich went into the weekend hoping that they'd pick up the win and that Leverkusen would drop points, and they, like Liverpool, would be celebrating. That was last weekend. I tell you what, Leverkusen were able to extend that wait for Munich a little bit longer. Leverkusen at home to Augsburg and comfortable with the 2-0 win.
Yeah, very comfortable. You know, And like I said to you, I've been saying the whole season, they're not going to give up. They're going to keep fighting. They're going to keep on pounding away, trying to get the results, and which they did. 2-0. Good luck to them. There's been talk about Alonso leaving. That's been a big worry for Leverkusen at this stage, but it hasn't affected them. They keep on going. They keep on playing, and that's because of him. That's the way he's brought what he's brought to the team. Great to see it that there is fight. It'll keep on going.
Well, for Bayern Munich, they thrashed Mainz at 3-0. Mainz now dropping down to 7th on the log standings. The recent form has seen them fall out of the European Champions League places. But for Bayern, of course, another comfortable victory at home.
From 3rd to 7th. Yeah. Very quick. That's what happens. If you lose games, it's going to happen. Unfortunately for Mainz, their squad is not a huge squad, and that's where the big problem comes in. Get 1 or 2 injuries. His tired legs coming in the season, and that's what's caught up. But can't take away from Bayern. Another 3-0 win, another well-fought victory. But there is a but involved in this.
Yeah.
Harry Kane got a yellow card.
He's not available next week.
5th yellow card.
Yeah.
He's not available next week.
Yeah.
Now, that's a huge stumbling block for them, especially when they need to keep on winning. So is that going to affect them? I think it might just affect them because they haven't got an easy game. So, that's one big stumbling block for them at this stage. Some
good games also that happened. Freiburg away at Wolfsburg, winning 1-0, and Frankfurt against Leipzig. Who would have predicted this? 4-0, the win for Frankfurt.
Yeah, you're again one of those teams that have been outstanding this season, but I never predicted that 4-0 against Leipzig. I thought maybe the odd goal, but not 4. Just shows you how everything has changed in that league, where you used to have the big Leipzig, the Dortmunds, all that people worry about, and now they're not.
Munich up against Leipzig next. They'll be away from home, Munich, and hoping to get it over the line and get it done.
Well, Leipzig now going to bounce back and put a spoke in the wheel there and try and get a result. Very difficult one to call. Bayern without Kane, I don't know what to show. If they do win the league, it'll be the first trophy Harry Kane's ever won in his career.
And what a career it has been.
Just imagine.
Yeah. For Leverkusen, it won't be easy since they will be away as well. But to Freiburg, who still have a lot to play for.
Yeah, I can't see Leverkusen not winning that one.
Yeah?
So much to play for. They know that they've got to keep the pressure on, hoping that results go around them. I think they'll get the victory done.
Another good game to look forward to here. Mainz up against Eintracht Frankfurt is one to seriously look forward to as well here.
Mainz at home, struggling. They haven't been going well over the last few weeks. Frankfurt firing. I think we can see another Frankfurt victory.
Yeah, some will have their money on Frankfurt. And in just looking at things out in Germany, once again, they've kept us guessing in as far as the top 4, top 8 sides and so on. For Dortmund at 6, is that a big surprise for you?
A little bit of a surprise. I thought they would be a little bit closer than what they are.
Yeah.
But if you ever look at the points difference, anywhere from 3rd down to like 7th can end up in their top 4. It's very close. The points difference is not major. So it's been one of those seasons, very up and down, topsy-turvy. Anything can still happen for those last 2 Champions League places.
Well, anything can still happen out in Germany. And I'll tell you what's been happening. Hollywoodbets, of course, again, behind the beautifully South African game in as far as the Kasi games are concerned. And Amat Games, Gaskopo, were happening at Etwatwa. Let's find out more about that, Shane.
The passion for the beautiful game runs deep in the hearts of South Africans. As a nation, we are prepared to do whatever it takes to get our daily dose of the beautiful game. At Amat Games Gaskopo, it was exactly the same. but what led to the establishment of this tournament that continues to grow with each edition?
The tournament started in 2023. It was in the festives. It has been running for the past 2 years. We have partnered with Hollywood. We normally have 3 installments of the tournament: the Easter, the Winter, and the festive games. It's not easy running a tournament because everything comes from our pockets. So Hollywood agreeing to partner up with us, it has somehow removed the burden. The idea was initially started by Usiabonga Kamloi, known as Uskopo. And he said, guys, I've got an idea which I think we can run with it. And I said, okay, let's give it a try, because there is no such thing. As you can see, it's a location that is on the outskirts of the main logi. So to have something like this for the community, it was something that we needed. Normally, when the tournament like this takes place, vendors, people who come and have the stalls, they sell zinto. Mama that they come and clean, we remunerate them for that. There are activities, girls, we try to help them where we can, and we do other community beneficial programs like donating pads, school uniforms, and so forth and so forth.
The tournament was hotly contested, with 8 teams doing battle in the senior tournament, as well as there being an under-21 tournament. The under-21 victors were Classic 11 FC, who were head and shoulders above the rest. The battle in the senior final saw Amaramparamba FC taking on Iscatulos Kamedem, with the latter being the hot favourites to get the job done. True to the script, Iscatulos Kamedem showed just why many thought they were the team to beat in this tournament, as they kept their cool to seal the title by a penalty shootout.
No, bokumnandi kakhulu man. Into exciting kakhulu ukuthi ama-team engicompete nawo, more especially the likes of K9 neRampa, ama-team strong ngiyangithola. Ngihappy kakhulu because sidlala ngesquad esisha, sidlala ngentwana ezincane. Sidlala kanje yes sinalento ukuthi siyowina, but awunaleyo hope. But masobheka iplayer khona njengoba benze kanje, like ngihappy kakhulu.
In all of us soccer players, we are brothers outside. And it's funny because we do everything here in the field, then we do everything outside the field. It's like we are doing the same thing that we are doing every day as the soccer players. No one is fighting each other. We're just soccer players as brothers. We support each other each and every time. I'm so happy for the win. Because last time we lost on the semi, so I was heartbroken. So the boys, their effort today to win this tournament made me so happy. I'm proud of them and I'm proud of myself.
Thank you very much to Hollywoodbets, and well, nice to find out what happened in as far as our games scope. So that rounds up the show, and let's take the time to say thank you to Jerry Skosana and Shane McGregor. We'd also like to take the time to thank you at home for joining us for yet another episode of GameON. From myself, Susan Mapena, and the rest of the team, well, let's finish off the season strongly when we return next week and the weeks thereafter. Click, click, bang.